guys, and welcome to my review of Haikyuu 216 Lost Boy 2. And let's go into the chapter title meaning a bit later. But we start off with Hinata and Tsukishima right after Tsuki has asked him to go somewhere with him. And basically he wants to do blogging practice. And they just kind of end up joining the other people who are practicing on their own. And we see them blog and spike a bit, and we find out that not only does Tsukishima just use Hinata because he has the ability to see like the bloggers in slow motion, but Tsuki also has a long way to go before he's a good blogger, because when he blogs together with Koganewa and I think it's Kindaichi, although he's drawn a bit weird so he was kind of hard to recognize. Maybe that's just me though. Even though he's just as tall as they are, he's still the lowest blogger, which means that he still has a lot of leg muscle to build up, and we should see him get better soon and stronger, because he has not trained as much as the other players, because he wasn't passionate about volleyball before. He has not put in the work and he is not as strong physically. So that is probably the place where Tsukishima can improve, because he's a very smart player. We also have this really short scene of, I think it is Shiro Torisawa's two coaches, not the main one, but like the two under him, so not head coaches. They have this conversation about the head coach of Shiro Torisawa kind of changing after having lost to Karasuno, because even though they have lost to players who are not all that tall at nationals, they have not lost to a player like Hinata. And although the first part of this conversation was kind of irrelevant to me, because it didn't really have anything to do with our main characters, the part about Hinata is really interesting, because it just shows that Hinata is very special. Because as they said, they have lost to other people who are short, but they have never lost to anyone like Hinata. So that just goes to show that Hinata is not like other people, and I feel like that's a saying from a movie or something. But yeah, Hinata is awesome. That's all I'm trying to say. We then go to Kageyama's practice site thing, and he's kind of just stood there in shock because he's just been told that he's a little goody two-shoes. And he kind of has these flashbacks to when he was like the king of the court, and when Oikawa was like, do you really give your players the spikes that they want and that they need? And I feel like I said this before, that Kageyama, in his journey to become to not be the king of the court, he has kind of gotten so far away from that person that he's now in like the opposite place, and that's just as bad, because where before he did only as he wanted, now he does only what other people want instead of compromising between the two. And I think this is where like the Lost Boy chapter title comes in, because where the Lost Boy chapter 1 was about Hinata, because he didn't know how to improve or what to focus on, and as a ball boy, I think that was right when he had been named the ball boy, he didn't know what to do. And now we have Kageyama, who's always been so certain about what he is as a person, like he's a setter, and that's always been like his main thing. He's a good setter, and while he has been this king who just set the best tosses for a perfect player that didn't exist, now he's just become a perfect setter for whoever. So he plays very textbook, and being very textbook is exactly what Oikawa criticized Suga for being back in like season 1 when they first fought Aoba Josai, because Suga is very textbook, so he's very easy to read, yet he has all these small tricks that kind of makes him really annoying, as well as being a person who like lifts the spirits and stuff like that. But Kageyama doesn't have that. Kageyama is he's a hard person socially, unlike Suga, who's kind of like, he mingles with people naturally, and Kageyama's very antisocial and stuff like that. So I don't think he will improve on the socializing front. He is going to have to find this middle ground between being the king of the court and this very textbooky setter who just does whatever his crewmates want. Crewmates? That's not One Piece. His his teammates. We also have this little scene where the people who are overseeing the training camp, they are discussing what a genius is. And one of the people says that a genius is someone who is not perfect, who is far from perfect. And I think this really describes the situation that Kageyama is in, because Kageyama has always been set up as a genius volleyball player, and now that he is so lost in his ways, he has so much room to improve, because he has the techniques, he has the experiences, he has the strength, he has like everything you need to be a good volleyball player. He just hasn't found like the right path yet. He's struggling to find where he himself fits into the place, because he can do all of the things that a little goody two-shoes wouldn't do, and as well as he can do all the textbook moves, but he doesn't know. It's like he's trying to become a person that other people want him to become, and that makes him very easy to read, and when you're easy to read, you are a very weak opponent. So that is Kageyama's struggle. Lastly, we have about 2 pages about Karasuno, and we see that they're still training, and apparently, what's his name? Kinoshita, the other wing spiker 2nd year dude whom we haven't seen a lot of yet, he is getting very good at the jump floater serve, which is Yamaguchi's specialty. So we have a little encouraged and passionate Yamaguchi not wanting to lose to his senpai. And then we get the big reveal that whenever these 3 people, Tsukishima, Hinata, and Kageyama, are getting back from their training camps, they will have a practice match with Dateko. And this is very exciting because they fought Dateko back in the 1st season in the Inter-High, and they won, and they did not get to have their rematch because Dateko lost to Seijo back in the nationals, the Spring High preliminaries. Yeah. So I'm really getting excited to see this, because Dateko is a very different team from when Karasuno fought them back in season 1. Since they don't have their 3rd year, so they are relying a lot more on their 2nd and 1st years. And we also have Koganewa, who is their new setter, who's of course practicing with Tsukishima and Hinata at the moment. And we have Aone and the new captain, whose name I have forgotten. But Aone has this very special relationship and rivalry with Hinata, which I think is super interesting and is actually one of my favorite rivalries in the entire series, because they are 2 very opposite people who respect each other. It's small versus big, it's quiet versus super hyper. It is a tall, fast blocker against a tiny little jumpy guy, and I think that is very lovely, and their friendship is very beautiful. But yeah, that was kind of what I had to say about this chapter. If you liked anything that I had to say, please leave a thumbs up and tell me what you think of the chapters in the comment below. What do you think of the match we will have between Dateko and Karasuno, and what do you think Kageyama will do about his current situation, because he is a lost boy at the moment. And yeah, subscribe to me if you want to see more of me. I also do reviews of One Piece and Shokugeki no Soma, and for the chapters that came out today, my video should already be up, and I fumble a bit there, but whatever. But yeah, subscribe if you want to see more of me, and until next time, bye!